All right, it's September 8th and getting this done on a Sunday, so a little later than I like, but still getting it done. So, yeah, this weekend we had some friends reach out we hadn't seen in a while, so I ended up doing a little visit there with my wife last night. So, was planning on doing basically all my recording and stuff yesterday, including this, but and sorry, I don't. I'm not trying to sound like I'm complaining about it. I'm not. Just saying like this is why it's happening on a Sunday. So it was great to see them, check out their new place and stuff. So awesome to catch up. But yeah, today's going to be my big recording day. Getting through more course stuff. But we will rewind. We'll talk about work a little bit, which there isn't too much to update on. This week coming up, there's a bunch of travel and stuff. So I'm super excited. I'm probably going to go to the office. Well, I would go every day. The one person in particular that I want to connect with from my team, one of my PMs, is amazing to work with. We've been working pretty close ever since I joined the team. So super excited to meet him in person. I feel like personally we work very well together, remotely. Easy to get along with. You know, I can trust when he says I'm going to get stuff done, that it gets done. Like just great guy to work with. So it'll be great to see if we work well in person too. So excited for that. But I think he's not here the entire week, and one of the days I think they have an offsite or something. So anyway, I might only be going in one extra day in the end, but unless there's other people that are in that I'm not aware of yet, in which case I might go in every day. So excited for that. We did something like this last year when we had some folks from Mexico fly in, and that was cool. There were people on my team that at that point I had worked with for like 3 years and I had never met. So it was really nice to get to meet some of those people. So yeah, it's great when Microsoft can do this and fly people in and stuff like that. So that's going to be this week coming up. So I'll have more to share on that next week. But like I said, I'm excited for it. So I think that's it for work, though. Nothing else too crazy. So that's cool. We'll talk BrandGhost. Definitely get talking with people and compared to Meal Coach, I feel like this is a lot easier to have conversations with people about. Meal Coach, I feel like I feel definitely feel like we were solving a problem, and there were competitor products in the end that proved to us that we were solving a problem because they had lots of users. And with Brand Ghost, I feel like it's a it might seem like it's a more difficult sell to me if I was trying to approach content creators, which sounds funny because I am one and I understand it, but it almost feels like I don't know, not everyone who's making content is like willing to be paying for tools and stuff like that, which is totally fine. So it almost feels kind of weird to me to be like, hey, look, like pay us money for some software, and at the end of the day, like if they need to convert their audience into buying products and things like that, that's still on them. So they might say, well, why would I want to use your product if it's just to for me to make to post things? Like I'm already posting things. Like if they're not converting, then it might feel weird. So anyway, I have that kind of eating away at me where I'm like, I still have to make sure that I can get better at that. But for small businesses and stuff, it seems way more obvious to me. So real estate in particular, whether you're a small agency or individual real estate agent, like what what I'm hearing more and seeing more of is like people who are running whatever small business really. Uh, if you need to be getting sales, you're either word of mouthing, you're relying on your search engine optimization, like physical signs and stuff because you are a physical location, all these things. But like the standout ones are people that are getting onto social media and being able to make posts, and then people are finding them online and going, oh, like this is great, like I'm gonna go check this place out, because you can see it feels like you're having this experience when you can see the content. It's like proof, right? Like, so even I just got my haircut, and by the way, this is probably the last haircut I get before I am completely bald. So not to go off on too much of a tangent, but I think I'm reaching the point where my hair is too thin. And as soon as it gets like 2 days from now, it's already going to start looking like very, very thin as it's growing in. So I'm going to be bald. But I got to finish this next course first. Anyway, so like I was talking with my barber and just kind of listening to how he does his social media advertising and posting and stuff. And I didn't pitch him on BrandGhost, but when I go to take all my hair off, I'm going to pitch him on it because I think it's exactly the thing that would help him. Now, with the reason I was trying to say the content creators versus small businesses being more difficult for me to pitch to content creators is with small businesses, it's almost like they're the ones that are doing it realize like, man, I'm converting people. Like that's why they started they started doing it and realized they were getting conversions and they're like, I should keep doing this. And I feel like it's a little bit easier to kind of illustrate to them that, look, if we can help repost your content regularly and all you have to do is create it and you don't have to think about scheduling it and you don't have to think about going to different platforms, suddenly it's just like taking posts that are really like advertisements for them and just making that feel more automatic for posting as long as they make them. So anyway, to me, it just feels easier because I feel like it's more tangible in terms of the conversion. But I would say for content creators that are monetizing their audiences, get the same type of effect. So that'll just take some time for me to kind of finesse. But excited, we're making a lot of progress. We thought we had a breakthrough with TikTok because we basically submitted for approval and they like within a couple of hours they accepted it. So we were like, hell yeah, we got it. And then started kind of like turning it on and we're like, why isn't it working? Like basically you can't post anything public and it gives you a funny error code. And we're like, but no, like we approved it. That doesn't make sense. And then we were like, oh, we only approved we were missing a permission. So we were like, oh no. So we sent it for approval again, which again took less than 24 hours and it was still not working. But I think we realized that you submit for approval and then once you have approval, you now need to go get like approved per what do they call it? Like per scope, basically. If you're not familiar with what that is, it's just like per almost like feature that you have access to on your authentication token. So there's different scopes for all sorts of things, but there could be a scope for being able to read messages on behalf of a user, being able to send messages on behalf of a user, posting videos, posting pictures. Like these could all be different scopes. And those for TikTok, they're not quite like that, but we read that like basically now that you have approval, you have to go get your scopes approved, and like that's a more like laborious process. So we have it like it's funny, we have all the code written to go post and it like all that works because we were posting private things because that's the only way you could do it. So it works, but it's like it's useless. So and Google's kind of similar. So Google, we got approved, which is great. The Google stuff, it all works. Like we've made a video posts, but the problem is that the quota they give you would allow us to upload like 6 videos in a day, and then if like we would chew through that quota so fast, and then people would be complaining to us like, "Hey, your product's broken." So yeah, we got to get that sorted out. So we requested a bigger quota, but that's been over a week. So I don't know. I don't know if they're going to be monitoring the quota usage, but we don't have anyone using it. So I might change how my stuff is done and onboard myself to BrandGhost for that. So for what it's worth, like I built all of the stuff that I've been doing with different solutions, and now we're trying to make it all work in BrandGhost because it works for me individually, but that's not a platform that everyone can use. So I'll probably onboard myself to BrandGhost for that and be good to go. Another thing we've been working on, we don't have a user interface for it yet, but I got cross-platform tagging working, which is super helpful. Because when you go to make a post and you're trying to either collaborate with people or mention them, whatever, like if you were to go post it on Facebook, you have to be able to know how to tag them, obviously. But then you go to copy and paste your content to go post on some other platform, they might have a different handle, or how you tag people is different. A lot of the time, it's just, at symbol, then the username, like a lot of the time, but that's not all the time. And so it's just a pain in the butt every time you want to go to different platforms. So the more that we can make it like write your content once, we know you want to tag this person, then we'll get you set up to be able to tag them. So I have it working in the back end, which means for me, when I'm setting things up and testing them, I kind of can get like an early feature access, right? Because there is no UX to be able to configure these mappings, which we want to make feel more magic. Like for me, I was going manually to the different platforms and I said, okay, I want to tag this person. I know they're on 4 different platforms. Like, let me go get their usernames, make it work. And it does. So that's all great. It's all goodness. But we want to make it so that someone else coming onto the platform, they don't have to do that. It would be awesome, to do something like, hey, enter their name, and then we can go either look through your connections, we can go search on the platforms, like if we call APIs, so different things like that. Yeah, we want to make that feel better, and then obviously if you need to manually override whatever, then you can. So we'll build that, but that's been a huge benefit. So for me, the way that I'm using that right now is I have a podcast topic stream is what we call them. So I will be sharing out, I think on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, I share out a podcast that I've recorded, and I want to tag the person that I was interviewing. So that functionality exists now. Like I said, only in the back end, but it's cool. It works and it's cool. It's nice to not have to worry, because what was happening was I would post it and then there's still manual work. I'd go on, and if I remembered to, I would go edit the post to go tag the person so that it felt better. But now I don't have to worry about that. Otherwise, for BrandGhost, yeah, we're working on the onboarding. I know the engineer who's working on that said that he's hoping to get back to that today and kind of wrap it up. I shouldn't say wrapped up. That's not fair for me to assume, but I'm based on how much work he's done on it already, I'm assuming it's basically wrapping it up. So I'm looking forward to that. That's really going to help just for making it feel like seamless to get people onboarded. Otherwise, I have to add content. And with that said, we have a manual import, or we have a bulk import, but we have to run it manually. So I do have one user who had like over 80 pieces of content he wants to onboard onto the platform, which to me, that's a super good sign. Like, I'm pumped to see that, because if you think about it from a platform perspective, like, and I want to be transparent, where our goal isn't to like get the content and we're like, haha, now we have it, screw you. Um, it's really like, if you have that much content that you're bringing on, you, in my opinion, you have belief that like this is a helpful way for you to be posting it. So if someone adds one post and they try it out and they're like, cool, like it posted, like I feel like that doesn't show you the value. And that's why the onboarding part where we bring on your content will be great. But when someone says to me, like, hey, can you import these 80 pieces of content for me? I'm like, hell yeah, because you clearly see that if you wanted to go post that stuff, that's at least 80 times in your future where you're going on to a social media site, copy pasting, and doing that across any platform you want to do. No thanks. Like, that tells me you see the value. Now, whether or not you value it the same way we do is different story, to TBD, but at least you see the value in like what we're proposing. So I am stoked for that. I went to go import it for this individual in the new line formatting. I don't think it was what he wanted. Like, I noticed it before I imported it. So I just said, hey, by the way, like, I can guess if you want and then apply it for all of these, or if you want to show me one, that's great. Or if you want to re-export it and make sure your new lines are consistent, like, let me know. Otherwise, it would have made like one. Like, if you're not familiar when you're posting stuff, especially on LinkedIn, but it's applicable to all platforms, the shape of how you post your text is actually like very important, which sounds funny because you're like, isn't it just the words and the content? But if you, for example, if you just had a wall of text, people won't read it. they'll see it and they'll skip over it, just how we are statistically. So if you break it into like having a single line kind of hook or a couple lines, something small at the top to catch people's attention, you structure things with lists, and like you can shape the like ascending and descending lists and stuff like that. It makes people kind of stick, like their eyes kind of go to it. So when I saw that this person had everything on one line, I was like, I think it's an accident. Especially there's like hashtags and some other formatting, and I was like, yeah, we gotta. I probably want to double check with you first. So I'm hoping I'll get that today and I can onboard for him. But yeah, it's all goodness. So we'll keep plugging forward on that. I am excited to be able to share when we have our first paying customer. Right now, that's not. I don't want to say that's not a goal for us, but the money part isn't. Which sounds funny. We want to be able to have. This is at least my opinion. I think it's probably representative. When you have someone who's willing to pay for the product, in our opinion, like we have proven the value, right? But instead of being in a position where we're literally taking the money from people, because it's kind of like I want some goodwill in there as well. Like, thank you for being an early user and giving us feedback, and like we're learning from you. It's not about getting their money. That's nice. It's not about getting their money. Like, one user paying us isn't like, oh, suddenly we can keep the lights on. Like, we're fine. But it's the acknowledgement that someone said, yes, this is worth it to me. I would pay for this. Like, that signal for us, that's what we want. That's our goal. So obviously, if someone's giving us the actual money, that's great. But knowing that they're like, we want to be in a position, I guess you would say, that someone's using it and they say, I can't go back to not using this. Like, this has changed how I do this, and I like can't live without it, kind of thing, for content creation. So that's the goal. Okay, course wise and dev leader stuff. I don't think I have too much to update on just general dev leader. I got asked like a magazine. Who knows if this is real? I'm always so skeptical of this stuff, especially online, but it looked real when I checked it out. But someone from a magazine reached out to ask if I wanted to interview. And they say that their digital magazine goes out to like 500,000 readers. So it's like, yeah, I'll absolutely interview to do that, but I just don't know if it's a real thing. Their site almost made it seem like you have to pay to do it, but it was also mixed in with some content that said like that's not the case, but there have been people that want to pay for like an upgraded spread kind of in the magazine. So maybe that's what that meant. I don't know, but I can't even remember what it's called. Like top 100 something. But anyway, I figured like scheduling a call. What's the worst that could happen? I feel like there's only upside, and having an awkward conversation if it's not real is probably the downside. So we'll see. But that's kind of interesting. Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anything unique on the content front, and I think the answer is probably no. I should mention like been a little bit slower on C# YouTube videos because one, I have podcasts to publish before they get older than I want. Like I like to put them out about a week or two after, and some of these are like over a month. So that's not feeling good, but catching up on that. So I've had my editor doing the podcasts. And then I've only been doing like 2 C# videos a week, one or two, and then I'll kind of go back to normal soon. So, but the challenge has been like launch my reflection course, so that was awesome because that was one thing to be constantly juggling, putting effort into, and then Ryan Murphy and I announced that we're going to be doing our engineering management sort of through the lens of engineering managers. We're going to be doing behavioral interviews. So we'll have a course for that on Dometrain. That was sort of announced this week. So that's the sort of the big news, the one that I was hiding. But Nick Chaps said we could do like a little preview, and we put a little trailer together and stuff. So that was kind of fun. So yeah, that is the big announcement that I have for all my Dometrain courses and stuff. So going forward, I'm hoping to be doing more in that area versus just C sharp. So I want to make C sharp content and stuff online, obviously, but in terms of course creation, I'll probably be pivoting because that's, again, I feel I offer the most value in that area versus just C sharp. So looking forward to doing more of those. So we'll see how all that ends up. I think that might be it. I should mention, I can never remember if I say these things on the previous videos, but trying to grow the code commute channel as well. So uh, you, based on the numbers I see, at least, odds are you're probably, if you're watching this, you probably already know about the code commute channel and my main channel, because I feel like people, like these videos I had behind a paywall on my primary channel, and I kind of just re-uploaded everything on a new channel, and so that was like 70 videos or something, and now I'm just kind of uploading directly there. But I wanted to be able to separate the channels out. But Code Commute is the one that's so these are kind of like vlog diaries that I can reflect on over time, and other people can kind of see my journey, which is cool. But the vlog ones in Code Commute are kind of like me, stream of consciousness, talking about software engineering and career stuff while I drive, either to the gym and back, or probably not to the gym, it's too early. But yeah, to work and back as well. So if you haven't checked that out, it's just Code Commute on YouTube. I was surprised. I thought that name might be taken already. It seems pretty simple, like two basic words that with enough YouTube channels you would imagine that might be stolen. So yeah, pretty cool. Had good feedback on them. Doesn't have a ton of following, but the people that are watching them, they seem pretty engaged, which is cool. So I'm enjoying that. So yeah, check that out, Code Commute. And I think that's it, folks. I'm excited to get this course wrapped up. It'll be a little bit of a stress relief, but we're gonna be into the next one right after. So you gotta keep up the pressure. So thanks again. I'll see you next time. Take care.